What's up everyone, 124san's here with a premiere draft of Duskmourn. And as I said before, I had to record a session of Duskmourn, but the mic quality was pretty bad at that time. So I didn't want to publish those. Hopefully this time it works. Without further ado, let's head to the pack 1, pick 1. The rare Dazzling Theater Prop Room basically does nothing limited. Creature spells has Convoke and untap them. It doesn't do anything, period. And for this one, the best card is definitely Betrayer's Bargain. 2 mana or 4 mana to deal 5 and exile the creature on instant speed. And you can cast it for 2 in a pinch by sacrificing a creature or enchantments, or you can deliberate sacrifice that. Get a decent amount of good orders for it. Pack 1, pick 2, the best red card here. Red card is just not good. I think the best card here is just going to be Split Up. It can be a single-sided board wipe in some circumstances, like your opponent tap off their stuff sideways, so you just destroy all tapped creatures. Or you attack with everything and then destroy all untapped creatures. That works too, but your opponent will have a chance to block first. Yeah, the other cards are not as exciting, so I think I'm just going to take a Split Up here. And also today's Sunday, so today I was supposed to be drafting in local game store, but sadly today is also Canadian Thanksgiving, so no one is in the LGS. Like, there's only 4 players, so the draft cannot fire. We were gonna draft Zendika Rising, definitely not drafting Spider-Man, and 4 people is enough for Spider-Man, but we just refuse to draft that, period. Alright, for pick 3 though, 2 best cards are Traveling Screen, go with Split Up, or Raising King Horde Color goes with Betrayer's Bargain. I like Horde Color a lot more than Traveling Screens, so I'm willing to take it first. Pack 1, pick 4. Paranormal Analyst is a very strong card if you're doing a lot of Manifest Stress stuff. But the red card, Fear of Being Hunted, is perfectly fine, sticking in mostly red. And especially if I can pick up the 4 mana Most Valuable Slayer that gives it this first strike, the opponent just have to keep feeding creature into it. There's also Glimmer Lights, which is like the most versatile pick ever. You're gonna play Glimmer Lights in any deck in this format. So it also makes sense to just take this, but I like Fear of Being Hunted, especially when we have 2 very strong uncommons in red. Pick 5, yeah. I think we just want to continue the red train, even though Optimistic Scavenger is by far the strongest card here. And especially data-wise, this card performs super well in 17 lands, but you do need some supports for that. And in this deck, there's Fear of Being Hunted kind of supports it, and that's it. So we can definitely just take the Scavenger and look out for any enchantments, but I think we're fine just doing mono red. We're not sure if we're playing white. Pick 6, and yep, another reason to stay mono red. Most Valuable Slayer, very strong card. 4 mana 2/4, gives something +1/+0 and first strike when you attack, so you don't have to tap this Slayer ever. It works the best with Fear of Being Hunted, so you basically just have a first strike 5/2 that your opponent has to block, so they have to feed fodders to this Fear of Being Hunted. It will be a nightmare for them. Other than that, there's nothing else really for us to take here. Maybe a Rocko's Carnival if they're showing red whites, so that we can play Split Out a little bit better. Pick 7, no red card, so we think this will be the time where we take a white card. Glimmer Seeker it needs support, like you need to make sure this can be alive after it taps and attacks. But if you do, you can make a 1/1 Glimmer, or if you already have a Glimmer, you draw a card. The upside is very good, although in red-white, this is a 3 power creature, so it doesn't trigger payoffs like Irrelevant Gremlin. On the other hand, Friendly Ghost does trigger Irrelevant Gremlin, but I think I like Glimmer Seeker more, so I'm just gonna take it. Pick 8. Uncertain Twins is a pretty strong card for red-white aggro. It triggers the power 2 or less payoffs. It provides 2 bodies and also Manifest Dread for whatever Delirium payoff we're gonna have. And the pack wheels back Gremlin Tamer Wield. What the heck? But we are so far from blue-white that I think it's best to just take a Turning Side out here. It's a pretty competent combat trick. If something +3, which is a lot, and also replace it with a body. Pick 10. Well, just gonna take a 6-mana 4/5 playing cycling. I think we are really dead set on playing red-white. Surgical Sweeps can reanimate Fear of Being Hunted. Pretty sweet. Or Glimmer Seeker. And the Hospital Room. You can just pay 4 mana to get a counter every turn. And for this one, we just take Hardened Escort. 3 mana 2/4. Make something indestructible, so it actually works with Fear of Being Hunted. And also being a 2 power for the cards like Gremlin. Call Healer. Ideally not to play it, but perfectly fine here. Back to pick 1. Alright, this is a pick between removal or Horde Caller. How many removals we have? Only Betrayer's Bargain. But I think Razorhill Horde Caller is much more powerful that I'm willing to take this over a removal. The 5 mana 4/4 make a 1/1 every turn, and you don't even have to attack with it, and you can yes, hey, so if you want to attack with it, you can attack with it. Really strong card. Back to pick 2, and we didn't pick removal last pack, so it's perfectly reasonable to take a removal here. Exorcist. Target artifact, enchantment, or 4 or more power creature. That's actually a lot of targets. Back to pick 3, we got Optimistic Scavenger. If we want to pick this up, then we need to make sure we have enough enchantments. And I don't think there's any other cards that we're going to play from this pack, so might as well. So right now, we only have 1 enchantment, which is Fear of Being Hunted, and maybe Glimmer Seeker. This can make Glimmer if you can trigger the survival, but it's a pretty hard one. Back to pick 4, this is, well, not a good pack for us. Not gonna play any Boilbridge Ripper when we have 2 Razorhill Horde Colors at 5. No enchantments for the Optimistic Scavenger. The 2-drop creature is a friendly teddy that gives each one a card. I just don't like this. So I think I'm just gonna take a Trial Agony. Not a strong card, but it does remove 2 blockers with 1 mana. Because your opponent always gonna choose the second best creature. Back to pick 5, there's just absolutely nothing for this deck, which is unfortunate. I think I'm just gonna drop the rare. Pick 6. Alright, finally we got a playable card. Reclaim it, 2 mana 2/2, makes something with power 2 or less can be blocked, so it can get in for the final damage when you need it. And other than that, it's a 2 mana 2/2 that has 2 card types, which is like okay. And we do need 2 drops for this deck. And back to pick 7. This deck is now very high on cards like Grand Entryway and Elegant Rotunda because this card provides 3 easy triggers by itself, 2 rooms and Glimmer. And yeah, if you can play a Scavenger on 1 and the Grand Entry on 2, you just immediately put 2 counters on something, which is super powerful. And yeah, have to take this highly. Pick 8. No, we're not gonna play any Call Healer. Not sure if this deck will play any Impossible Inferno. Gonna take this instead of rare drop actually. Maybe we'll play this if we're desperate for removal. Pick 9, just gonna pick Orphans of the Wheat. It also has the upside of pairing up with Glimmer Seeker, so you can tap it without the Glimmer Seeker entering combat and trigger the survival. And we just need 2 drops. So there's a pretty good add, but on the other hand, we do need enchantments, so Optimistic Scavenger can work, and Betrayer Sparkin can have Fortress to sack. I'm gonna play it. And back to pick 11, just gonna take a rare here, rare draft. Not gonna play it, grab the prize for this deck. And it doesn't look like red white is open from the pack 2 direction. We're getting some like decent feelers like rare playmates and grand entryway, and that's pretty much it. Yep, not gonna play another call healer. Don't want to play Teddy either. Hopefully we got good red and white cards from the right hand side. And now we are pack 3, pick 1. Well, not the best pack, I think. Walls of Rage. Target a creature to deal damage to each other creature. And if your creature control dies, you can exit the top and then play until the end of your next turn. So if you use this board wipe to wipe your own creatures, you get to draw cards essentially. But this deck won't have any big creatures, and it always has the chance of getting blown up by a removal. And in the meantime, this deck would need a lot of grand entryway and elegant rotunda for optimistic scavenger. So I'm just gonna take this. Pack 3, pick 2. I think this is gonna be an Exorcist versus a Painter Studio. Painter Studio and the Face Gallery does work well with Optimistic Scavenger, but this deck still can need some sort of removal. And I really don't like Trial of Agony. Don't want to play it if I can avoid. And Season for Slumber isn't a good removal for red-white. Because it only costs 2 if it targets a tap creature, and if you are the aggro deck, your opponent is not going to tap their creature very often. Pack 3, pick 3, we got Split Out number 2, but Split Up already is kind of... do I like a second Split Up? And if the aggro deck it costs much more. Because we have to attack and tap our creatures first, and the opponent can just block and eat some creatures. And I think a third grand entryway is good, especially with the Optimistic Scavenger. I did pass an Exorcist. I think that should be fine. Pack 3, pick 4. I think it's just gonna take its best removal here, Scorching Dragonfire. Especially when we passed the removal last turn. This thing instant speed deals 3 and exiles the thing, so it's pretty good against cards with graveyard effects. And on the other hand, Unsettling 2 is pretty good. Pack 3, pick 5. We already pick up 3 grand entryways, so Optimistic Scavenger is definitely good in this deck. Outside of that, there's another Painted Studio and Deface Gallery. And it will be a decent card. I actually hope if I can have the first one wheeled, but I don't have high hopes for that. But for now, let's just take the Scavenger. Next to pick 6, we got a second Fear of Being Hunted, which is an enchantment creature for Optimistic Scavenger, and it works super well with Most Valuable Desire. Definitely the pick here. Pick 7. We got a Filler 2 drop and a Filler 5. We don't need a Filler 5. And I don't know if I'm actually playing this 2 drop, but not playing anything else anyways. Pick 8. Hardened Expert is an upgrade over Cog Healer, so let's just take this Escort. Cog Healer does have the upside of Lifelink with cards like Grand Entryway and Fear of Being Hunted, but still, I like Hardened Expert a lot more. Also, this card works well with Fear of Being Hunted. Pick 9. We got a Ticket Booth, which actually works with Optimistic Scavenger. So I was gonna take that here. And I don't think this deck wants a Land Cycler. The other cards, Unwanted Remake, just you don't want to play this in limited, giving opponents a 2/2 creature. And Painter Studio did wheel, let's just take that. Exorcist wheeled. Alright, let's take that. And wow, Twins wheeled. Alright, we're gonna have a little bit of hard time cutting stuff. The deck turns out alright. Even after the pack 2. I think it's just pack 2 that we didn't get much stuff. Pack 3 was pretty good for us. We're focusing on Optimistic Scavenger. And we get a second copy of it, which is nice. Right, it's time for cuts. I think we can just cut Painter Studio and Deface Gallery. First thing first. And 3 Exorcists, a Scorching Dragonfire, and a Betrayer's Bargain. Those are removals. And the 2 drops are Orphans. Orphans by itself is quite weak, that I'm willing to actually cut it. Even though it has the upside of working well with Glimmerseeker, but that's it. Glimmerseeker is the only survival card in this deck. And second, do I cut Glimmerseeker? I think it's fine to say. Especially if we can just use a removal to get rid of blockers. Although Exorcist is kind of limited as a removal against faster decks. I think still 5 removals is good enough. We have 6 3 drops. I think I'm gonna cut down Color Hardened Escort. And that was we have white more than red. But red has 2 pip cards like Fear of Being Hunted. So I think this deck will just go even splits of 8 and 8. And I think that's it for this deck. And Acrobatic Cheerleaders is also playable, but I think I'm pretty fine on 2 drops. Is it better than Wrecked Playmates? We don't care about Delirium whatsoever. So there's a reason to just play an Acrobatic Cheerleader over it. This can get power 2 or less unblockable, but this is can also be a flying evasive threat, so they achieve a similar thing. And I think the Cheerleader is gonna be better here. And it looks like we get ourselves a 3540, just aggro red white without any signpost. Yeah, the signpost for red whites is super good. One is a 2-mana 1/3 that drains your opponents for a lot, depending on how many 2 powers or less creatures you have. And the second one is the 4 mana makes 3 gremlins, and gremlins you control have menace, life, link, and haste. Also works well with cards that are already gremlin, like this irrelevant gremlin here. And yeah, by the way, the 2 recorded sessions of Duskmourn before this were also red-white. It's just, I think I'm just basically cursed with red-white for this week's flashback draft of Duskmourn. Well, anyways, let's head to the gameplay, see how this deck does. Alright, here we are, game 1. Draw into all 3 Grand Entryway Elegant Rotunda before the 1 drop. Kind of depressing, but the hand is still playable. Yeah, it would be like the best thing ever if we just top deck the 1 drop. I'm gonna play a Saw. Saw is a pretty mediocre card. We're just gonna play a 1/1. And then play a 2/2 with Tiki Booth. I hate them for this. And this card also just dodges the Exorcist, which is sad, but we did draw Optimistic Scavenger, so we can just do this right now. Just make a super big 3/3. And I think they're just not gonna attack with Screaming Nemesis. Still, and there's no way I'm blocking that. Oh wow. I didn't put counters on the optimistic damages, so I didn't dodge a Winter's Intervention. That's a little bit depressing. Gonna play Unsilent Twins here. Oh, that's a good face down. Can we outrace the Screaming Nemesis is a problem. This card is absurd when it's dealt damage. It just deals that much damage to any other targets. I think we're perfectly safe just chunk blocking a 1 there. It can do 1 to us and then we can't heal, but we are not healing anyways, so... Yep, now we have the thing that says we can't heal for the rest of the game. Cheeky boo. If we get a land, I'm just gonna flip this. And attack all and use the 1/1 to block that. I think my game plan is basically just 1/1 chump the Screaming Nemesis until they stop attacking. Another land, double strike. They can't give double strike to the face down card. Or the and they're not attacking with Screaming Nemesis. Understandable. I think I'm just gonna chump here. I'm not gonna get any. I can still just attack with the Glimmer and get a 1/1. And they cannot do the 3 to get rid of Resurrecting Whole Color. I'm playing Hunter Escort, that's for sure. And play Booth. Irrelevant Gremlin. Just attack with this. Now we are pretty much all set. This actually trades unless I flip. Need to reserve my life total. So the Screaming Nemesis doesn't just auto kill me. And also, if they only present 1 blocker, Saw Blade, that's fine. They definitely need to present more than just 1 blocker. Drew into another Resurrecting Whole Color. So if I play this, attack with all, they block, it's still 6 damage, they're taking. And if things doesn't work, we still have 2 Gremlins for blocks. Yep, attack with all, and that leaves us with 2 Gremlins and it's good out. Alright, perfect. I almost thought I'm just gonna lose when the Screaming Nemesis drop on 3 and we have no removal for it. This card is very obnoxious. But we got there. 1-0 heading into game 2. Alright, here are game 2. This is a terrible hand. Mono planes with 3 red spells with fear of being hunted, having 2 pips. Second hand, not much better, but cannot be helped, sadly. Let's just bottom this Model Swiper Slayer, because we have another 4-drop in white. And if we draw a mountain in the first 2, we can just play the Ticket Booth. One-drop Clockwork Percussionist. Pretty good 1-drop. Dice into another card. Play the Aerobatic, because it's a bigger creature. And they just pass, but luckily we drew a plains. But unluckily it's not a mountain. So we have to play off curve this turn. Before that, let's just attack. Alright, we get ourselves a flyer. So we just play an entryway, and next turn, the Elegant Rotunda. If we don't draw any lands, I really hope we just draw even a place will work for Outstanding Twins, ideally a mountain. Yeah, I am not gonna block that. If they don't have a land, this will be their desperate measure to get a land. But if they want land, they can also just block last turn. Alright, rolling furnace, 6 damage, that's fine. What is not fine is the other side, the Steaming Sauna. And we didn't draw a land, but we can do a Surgical Switch. In the back. Steaming Sauna draws a card of return, which is very good. And the blue-red in this format cares about rooms, and this rare room is a very good one to have. Most valuable Slayer, yep, that enables this attacks. And I'll be helped. Draw planes again. But I think this can just be the turn where we activate Hospital Room and attack with Acrobatics Leader. So now we got a Suicide Flyer. I block with this for a turn. We're doing pretty okay as a mono white. They attack for 4, not gonna block. Disgusting. Alright, this will be the best time to draw a mountain, so we get rid of this Enduring Curiosity. Oh, please don't be the removal. And yep, they have everything. And we didn't draw a mountain. That's really tough. And we're not gonna try mountain anytime soon, looks like. And they can just have a lot of card advantage with the Steaming Sauna and the Curiosity. We need a red ASAP for Scorching Dragonfire so we can get rid of this Enduring Curiosity for good. Because all the enduring creatures, they return as a non-creature enchantments after they die. I'm gonna give them the card draw here. And they play a Ghostly Keep. Oh well. If this deals damage, it just lock the Roaring Furnace and you just keep flipping it. Is there anything we can do to stop this? I don't think there is. And plus we didn't even draw red. We just can't stop them, period. Pretty unfortunate. 1-1 heading to game 3. Alright, here we are at game 3. Very unfortunate hand with no 2-drop, no 3-drop. I think this hand just straight up not functioning, but if we drew a white, we can split it up, but not gonna risk that. Much better hand. Oh, what to discard though? What to put? I think I'm just gonna put down an Exorcist here, although Betrayer's Bargain doesn't have any target. Or we're supposed to get a Most Valuable Slayer will be good when we draw enough lands. I think we'll get rid of Betrayer's Bargain. And yep, drawing to 1 land. And it's gonna say here and say silent, but we do have the Exorcist for that. I think I'm just gonna Exorcist here instead of playing Acrobatic Cheerleader. And there's a 2-1 that gets a basic. With Delirium, it's CC Vigilance, which is quite good. And ours. Yep, they are splashing for probably white. We are being hunted. This is when the pip matters. I have to discard that because we can't cast with one mountain, but we can cast Glimmer Seeker. So even if we don't draw any lands, I can just play Glimmer Seeker. And if we do draw a land, I will play Most Valuable Slayer to enable this survival. Unnerving. Unfortunate. Okay, did draw a land, so this could be in Valuable Slayer. Also gonna enable Acrobatic Cheerleaders to fly for the rest of the game. And then we can play an Exorcist and a Gremlin. Assuming they play something big, and they are splashing for a lot of stuff. Trapped. Well, I can still get it back. But if I draw a land, I'm gonna play these two instead. I didn't draw a land. I can still play Gremlin and Gremlin Entry, but I think I just want it right now. Word 2 is fine. There's a chance I get countered. Right? We get it back. Attack for 3. Haunted Screen, alright, that doesn't contribute to the board until they pay 7 mana to turn this into a 7/7, and the Chart Warrior, it also doesn't contribute to the board whatsoever, so I am fine with that. And drawing to a Scorching Dragonfire, and the thing is, I guess you just play a Glimmer Seeker, but it's not gonna be mana efficient, although the 1/1 is doing absolutely nothing. That's also a thing. You need to press the attack though. I think it's fine if we just play everything here and not discard everything. And attack with all, giving the first strike here, so they can't double block. Exile Glimmer Knight. Glimmer Knight is fine by itself. I don't care about that. What I do care about is if they have any board wipe or any big reach creature. Because we're most likely gonna win with Acrobatic Cheerleader. Shelter by Ghosts, but we do have Scorching Dragonfire for that. And they're not gonna attack with it, right? I can just present it. And they do have 2 mana up. They're attacking with it? Okay, if they're attacking with it, there's a... What kind of combat trick? If they have a sort of combat trick that gives permanent counters, we're doomed. But if it's just a normal combat trick, and they would definitely use it when I try to Scorching Dragonfire that, that's also not good news. Let's actually just double block here. Trades? Okay. I'm also fine with that. In that case, they actually use their 1 creature and the Shadow that goes to trade with 2 creatures on this side, which I am perfectly fine with. For this turn, I can use Rotunda to press the attack, or I can just be safe and play a Glimmer Seeker. I'll just play with Glimmer Seeker. And I can still attack with 2. Just need to keep this. And I'm not afraid of a second Shelter by Ghosts. If they have it. That's a pretty disgusting one. Tap and stun something. Yep, puppets. Fire stunned. I'm gonna hold on to Scorching Dragonfire until they tap out, or I know clearly what option is the best here. Razorkin, that's fine. And alright, I can use this Scorching Dragon Fire to clear the way for something. If mostly gonna multi-block me. Oh yeah, holding should be fine here. Unlock counters on the ground creatures. And I can hold out this for blocks. It's just gonna chump block. And I make a 1/1. And this is a 7/7 flank, which is fine. I think I'm still just gonna block here. Or I can just single block to be very safe, but if they spend some mana on here instead of on the cheerleader, that can be great too. Destroys your greater, so just Glimmer Seeker, I guess. Well, that's a pretty decent target removal for them. They already miss all the timing. Miss out on the timing. Oh, actually, 3 or greater. I miscounted. Oh well, that's fine. I still have a cheerleader as long as they don't deal with that. I think I do need to use this Dragonfire this turn. Next turn, I'm gonna be busy. What's under there? They say, okay, something they cannot flip. Finally, a second source. I already used up this thing. So right now we are, if this gets to attack, we are 2 turns lethal. I'm just gonna play the mountain. Alright, that's nothing. Don't know what they draw. They can... Okay, that changes things. We need to top deck an Exorcist, which you only have 1 copy of. The block here. Alright. I think we literally just die next turn. So maybe I shouldn't block there. Oh, okay, twins. I can play twins at least. Twins is gonna get rid of 2 cards that can't help. Oh no, another flyer. So even if we top deck a removal, they still have a flyer and they can just move the Glimmerlight to it. Oof, that is rough. And they're gonna give everything hexproof. Razor King Horde Collar. This card is not enough to do. If I play Razor King Horde and attack with all, what happens? So they eat this. They have to block that. They have to block everything. Screw it. This is the only window now. Yep, obviously. Or they can eat the flyer and chump block On the 4/4. That leaves me behind. That leaves a Razor King Horde color behind. Maybe this is actually better for me. Like, we can't target anything they have though. And they're just gonna have a big creature with the weight room. And the literal only thing we can target is the lecture hall. So we need to exorcise the lecture hall and then use a removal. Ugh. But they're playing is safe here. But next turn they're just gonna have a anti-screwing as a 7/7 and also flies, and we just lose because they can just give it flying. Oh, that's rough. Right now we are at 1-2, heading into game 4. Alright, here we game 4, and this hand is terrible. Nothing castable early game, and the rest spells are like removal and a 5-drop. Playable, but not that better. Have to play a 1/1. And then actually, on turn 3, I can play Hardened Escort into this Fear of Being Hunted. So that's a pretty good combo. And if they play a 1/3, I would just play this first, obviously. I don't think there's a 1/3 in this 2-color though. What the heck? Sure. I'm totally fine with that. And then we drew into a split up that we cannot cast because I bought on the planes. Which is the bane of mulliganing. And if they play any creature, that would be the best thing for us here. We just eat their creature. So please. Yep. Play a creature. Still drawing into mountains, but oh well. And it gives another creature +1 and indestructible, so yep. And yep, it actually took them quite a while to block here. That's the only legal. Yeah, okay. This is too much for them. They cannot play any single creature because every creature is just gonna get eaten. If they have removal, I'm just gonna fold here because my hand has no follow-up. Anyways, pretty sweet for 2-2. Hopefully we win another one so we don't lose that many gems. 2-2 heading into game 5. Alright, opponents go first, so that will be the reason to keep this actually. If we don't draw any lands early, we only have 2 cards, but we are going second. And drawing planes is really good with split up the intro planes. And if they play something that I must answer, I'll Scorching Dragon first, right? Going for right now. Or I can be Omega greedy, or please no. I'll just be safe. Because this thing cheats mana. I don't want them to cheat mana. They ended up having another one. Anyways, have to play the irrelevant gremlin here. Hopefully we can draw a land. Oh, I could have exorcised that. That's also something to consider. Meat locker. Well, done. And betrayer. It is some kind of betrayal. This deck is betraying me. Or I can just exorcise that. But I think trying to hit the land drop is much more important right now. And we didn't. This hand is betraying me, as you can see here. This is what betrayer means. At least they're not doing too much of a thing. And they're literally not doing anything, period. Okay. Okay. If that's your game. Actually, I have the Betrayer's Bargain instant speed, so let's actually go for the attack first. Gets in. I fly now. And they're on blue-white, so I think I want to keep all my exorcists. In that case, gonna discard the other Razor King Horde color. Or they use a big counter spell for that. That's fine. Yeah, not actually doing anything much. Unable to screen, which is exorcisable. If I actually care about it. I think I should just do that. Or I can exorcist their creature too, but I want to be the aggressive one. And they're still holding up 5 mana. So it doesn't matter whatever we cast here, actually. And now maybe they start drawing Dine or something. And actually, Acrobatic Cheerleader is good for split up. Because you can just attack and then destroy non-tap creatures. Oh, like this is like freaking finally the third land, and it's a plains, so we can use a split up here if we want to. But I think he's gonna play a creature here. Attack. Wrap in the screen. Okay. That's actually not bad, because if they attack with awe, I can split up, destroy tapped creature, and I can still have the gremlin up. Oh yep, that's the plan here. Alright. This land is good. Destroy all tapped creatures. This is where it's good, and the opponents flooded out pretty hard here. If you play just one big thing, I have exorcist for that. And if they play nothing, I would just exorcist the trap in the screen to get back the Glimmer Seeker. I still have instant speed Betrayer's Bargain, so let's attack first. And yeah, their hands is also terrible, which is what we need to come back. And yeah, that's 1 for 2, right? B. And I can Betrayer's Bargain, eat this gremlin. Tunnel Surveyor. Don't think they actually have any other card. So I can just Rotunda. Or I can be super safe and just attack with the flyer and not do anything with the Glimmer Seeker. I think I'm gonna go unsafe here. Alright, we get in and we get a 1/1 for blocks. So we're not gonna get that much of a crackback. And yep, opponent didn't do much thing. They flooded up too much, and this is exactly what we need to make a comeback. 1-2 into 3-2. It's glad to know we are not losing that much gems. 3-2 heading into game 6. Alright, here we are, game 6, and the hand just keeps on being unplayable. This is the theme of this draft. Alright, this is a much better hand. Because we have the God opening. They have a red, that means they can have Scorching Dragon Fire. That means there's no point putting on the counters on the... I still have to put one counters there. And if they don't use a removal here, I'm just gonna go off with the Rotunda. And yep. Then don't. In that case, I'm just gonna at least bump the Optimistic Scavenger outside of Scorching Dragonfire's range. It can still easily removal if they have the deal 5 one. In the Studio Mountain, yep. Unlock. Target itself. It's then 4-7. And now if we don't draw a land, we just have nothing to play. Or we can exorcist the room. Bottomless pool. Ugh. They can use it to get rid of the glimmer for good, actually. Alright, you choose to do that. And I'm outside of Scorching Dragon Fire, Scorching Fire Dragon range. I can use the Exorcist on that, but this is still a good attack. Yeah, I'm just gonna save it for later. So if they have the defender, the defender removal, I can just use it on that. Oh, I can't use it on this. And when it dies, it deals damage equals to power to any target. So it still do 2 damage. Alright, I'm gonna take a second to think here. If I Elegant Rotunda, I get 4 counters. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a 4-4. I can bump this to 7, so they have to block this, right? If I make a 1-1, I also get that many counters. If I make a 1-1, I put 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Too much thinking. Damn it. Yeah, if I do that, they can just use deal the 2 to this one. I actually do less damage though. I didn't think about that. Yeah, if I split the counters, then I'll do 2 more damage to their face, which actually matters. And right now I literally fold if they have another bottomless pool. But at least if it's a bottomless pool, I can just play it back. And I dodge every single red removal, I think. Right? That's a playable card, and now I can play a 4-drop. I think we're gonna go combat first. Yep, okay. So their plan is Glimmer Burst for Chump Block. And play more creatures. And the best part about this scavenger, as I said before, is it dodges any single... Okay, goodbye. Good to know ya. It dodges every single red removal with that many counters. Okay, I drew a mountain. That means I can... I don't have 3 fights for that I can exorcise that, or I can just play a Razor King Horror, and they don't have a blue to counter this, so let's just play this. You don't have any blue, and two red is only enough when if it's the Betrayer's Bargain, but if they have it, they will use it pre-combat. So to not die, Scorching Dragonfire, and then they have to chump block. That's not negotiable. But we're still in a very good spot here. And the Tracker, very good card, but Dust works. And I think that's lethal. That's already lethal. And yeah. Oh, okay. That was pretty good. Another Mulligan's hand, but we managed to draw into the Dream turn 1 and turn 2. Optimistic Scavenger into Grand Entryway, and then Rotunda, and then they have nothing. They can't do anything outside of Gordon's Pool, which is actually pretty good. But yeah, we got there. Hopefully we're not mulliganing anymore. Like, mulliganing is not fun. Is that... Alright, 4-2, heading into game 7. Alright, game 7. Finally a hand that's keepable. And we drew we top deck the best one drop. If this survives, I can just Grand Entryway next turn. Which is probably not gonna be the case. And yup, of course. Well, in that case, we just play a Gremlin here. We can't have like godlike opponents every game. And they are gonna spend another removal. Alright. At least the murder used here means one less murder for Slayer and Horror. Well, 2 mana make a 1/1. Bad news. Saw Blade, Skin Ripper. I can most valuable Slayer, or I can just Optimistic. Both will be fine actually, but let's resolve Slayer first. I just need to make sure I do this and then Rotunda. Alright, they are not contributing to the board whatsoever. And this will be the perfect opportunity to resolve Razor King Horror since we draw a land. Target a creature, doesn't matter. Yep. They draw into no lands after the Attic, and the deck can just be it for our opponents. Even if I have a removal, our attacker is just much stronger than what I have. Disturbing Murph, sacrifice with Attic, draw 2, but it doesn't contribute to the board whatsoever. And 2 mana, actually, they can 2 mana sacrifice the Mirth to manifest Strat, which is a pretty good play. And however, they have to... Oh, they also do damage. Wow, that's actually neat, but I can just exorcise this because they bump the power. And if I attack all, they have to block Razor King Horror. I think I'm not gonna opportunity scavenger here. Just maximum damage coming in. I have to chump block the big one. And yeah, that should be it, unless they have a literal board wipe. But even one board wipe is not enough. Oh, alright. We take the advantage of opponents not drawing lands. And we got there. Right now, 5-2, heading into game 8. Alright, here we are, game 8. Opponent going first, no 1 or 2 drop, and Exorcist is not castable until in a lot of circumstances. Still, we can keep this because Split Up is pretty good defensive card. Assuming they have everything they have are tapped, that is. And yup. Can't do anything to that. Okay, now we're drawing enough lands for the Resurrecting Horror color, at least. Now I can just use Split Up as a target, single target removal if they drop like a 3-mana bomb that I have the answer right now. Ooh, that's a good one from them. Just gonna drop this Hardened Escort first. Block 2-1. Splitting Stock's a pretty good card. 2-1 draw a card. Most of the time, especially for red-white. Red-white has a lot of creatures with power 2 or less. Bang. When attacking, I can still just... Oh, if I attack with this, they can double block. Are they gonna risk a double block for this though? Or I can just grant entryway and pass. That's not being mana efficient. But I think it should be fine. I just play a grand entryway and use it to chump block the Vicious Clown. And then split up, wipe the clown and the cheerleader. Assuming they play something that triggers clown. Or if they use a removal here and attack with everything. That would actually be great too. Glass work, yep. Removal. I'm just gonna take it in that case. Fear of being hunted, but they have good blocks against this. I think it's just gonna be a split up turn. These very tapped creatures. And then can't do anything here. If they play a big thing, I have an Exorcist for it. Ugh. I cannot Exorcist that. I can actually fear of being hunted. I'm gonna take this turn. Yeah, I play Mountain, fear of being hunted for 3, Elegant Rotunda for 3, and I have to set chump block with this. That's the plan. Oh yeah, this can also give counters to opponent's creature if I want to exorcise something. Alright, they don't have the 1 mana combat trick, good. And they're using Baldur's Gate lands, so they have flavor decks. Pretty neat. Yeah, I think I have to block here. Not gonna take any more damage. If I can help with it. And I have a good removal if they just play a big thing. Well, I mean, Beast is a big thing. I can definitely use Exorcist on it, and I can still Resurrecting Horror color after that because I drew a land. This is actually a pretty good land draw. Exorcist, the Beast, the Horror color, and the Toby has to chump block. And they have a Seize from Slumber. They choose... Alright. They choose a pair of being haunted. That means I have a big blocker this time, right? Grand Entry, make a 1/1. And Rotunda. Okay, now I'm not gonna block here. Well, actually, I can still block. Okay, that's perfect. I make 2 gremlins a turn. Oh yeah, maybe I should have blocked because the Shatter Yards can deal 1 damage each turn to me. And that's not gonna be great. Alright, they let it through. Wait, if they make 3 tokens, do I just die on the spot? The Gremlin, the Gremlin card makes 3 tokens and I take 5 damage in the air if they have it. And they also like links. Oh, that would be actually be pretty rough. Friendly Ghost. It doesn't even give you flying, so we can just chump block it. Perfectly fine with that. Drawing to Unsettling Twins, so we have blockers for days on the ground. In that case, I think I'm just gonna... I can still play a Twins first, maybe we get something useful. And none of them are useful. Yeah, I can still just attack with everything. We have ground blockers for days. So we're definitely not gonna die because of that. The only way we die is we die to in the air. Like suddenly they have a +5. +3 combat. Okay, if they only spend mana on there, they're pretty doomed, I think. Yep. Alright. Oh, we're almost gonna pull it out, but we have 2 Razor King Horde colors. And that pretty much seals the deal. Alright, now we are at 6-2. Ready to face the final boss in game 9. Alright, here we are at the final game. This is very sus. And only playable cards to Exorcist. But we do have 3 turns of lands, and if we drew a mountain in the first 2 turns, we're gonna be hunted and most valuable Slayer. Okay, for the upside, I'm keeping this. But this can pretty much backfire. If I draw into the 5 mana spells for planes only, I can Exorcist that to deny their 4 mana C3. That is actually a viable option. Say its name, and they can only get land. Do I just exorcist that to deny them a 4-drop? I really don't like the idea. Even though maybe I should. But still, maybe I can just do it next turn. But maybe they just have another 4-drop if I just exorcist that. Still, that's basically ripping a card out of their hand. But I just don't like the idea of using exorcist on something that doesn't actually affect the board right now. And now I probably should have exorcised that. And it actually doesn't matter because they can affect around every corner. If I draw a red, I'm willing to just, you know, being hunted. It doesn't matter because threats around every corner is just gonna get the face down. They can just block with the face down. So it's not gonna work. I think I'm just gonna exorcist this thing. Basically deny their 4 mana C3. They also get a land. But they just need to play like any other thing for me to scoop here. It's a big thing, and I just used the removal. I could have used against it. There's that. Us. And knock something out, draw a card. Yeah, I think I've seen enough. Oh. And actually, just like the previous two recorded but not released sessions of Duskmourn, this one is also a 6-3. Always losing in the final boss and always playing red-white. Well, that was unfortunate. But I did try to gamble for a higher ceiling, and it didn't work out. So can't complain there, actually. Taking another look at this deck. So this is just basically red-white playing all the good stuff, and with 2 optimistic scavengers that put counters on things, especially with Grand Entryway and Elegant Rotunda. This card just enables Eerie 3 times, which is super neat. And also the 2 copies of Fear of Being Hunted works well with Hardened Escort and Most Valuable Slayer, so the opponents have to feed something into the Fear of Being Hunted every turn. Also, Razor King Horde Collar, it's good as always. Fire Metaphor for haste, can attack right away and make a 1/1. And the 1/1 is untapped, so you can just use it for defense. So you don't get lethal on the crackback. And also split up worked in some games, being a one-sided war wipe, because your opponent's not going to play around split up. So you have the advantage of choosing when to fire this. And also Exorcist actually kind of limiting. It doesn't actually get rid of the cards like Entity Tracker, which is a very good card. And if it's something like Scorching Dragonfire, you can use it to get rid of some small creatures. But Exorcist will be pretty good on any big creatures, and Artifact Enchantments, which is usually what aggro deck is hard to get through. Because if they only have small blockers, you can just attack through them with your creatures. If they have big blockers, you can use Exorcist to get rid of them. But there's also the 3 mana covering the screen that's actually just straight up targets any creatures. But it does cost 1 more mana and it can be removed, so opponents get it back. But you also have War 2, so you'll make your opponents harder to do so. Overall, a decent deck. And yeah, just another red-white deck without any signposts. Just like my experience of this flashback set for this week. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.